Jimmy Dong William Waboose. I am a full-time pastor now in Fort Hope. And our belief is to raise young people, to train, to disciple. My upbringing was very chaotic. It was all alcohol abuse and violence, and it wasn't neglect. My mother and father, they loved us, but they just couldn't handle the addiction of alcohol. And as a result, I became one. And my life began to change when, because we loved hockey, we loved playing hockey, we'd play out there at 40 below. A missionary team came to our community, and somehow my friend and I ended up in their camp down the States. And that's where I began to know the Lord just a little bit. I began to realize that I needed God, and there's a better life than what I'm living.
Jimmy and I go back 21 years now. We're good friends, and I've known his family, his wife, and his children. They all came down actually for some revival meetings in Prince Albert, and they were touched by revival, and they ended up coming back and moving into Saskatchewan.
When we went to the Bible school, we sold everything. We sold our truck, our boat motor, our snowmobile, a couch, table, everything. And then we left, and when we got back, we had an empty house. So I worked for a couple of years to get all that back. And during that time I worked for Education Authority. And we had conferences. And I would go into the hallways after the conference, and where we were in the conference room, I would pray. And I said, God, one of these days, I'm going to do a conference here. I kept praying, and God began to lead me to young people. This is going to be a youth conference.
When they went back there, they built the church on their own, and their people were really coming together at that time to serve the Lord and see transformation in the community.
I grew up without my father in my life. I grew up obviously surrounded by drugs and alcohol abuse and just stuff like that, so that was my kind of childhood. Actually, through the church and everything, I found a light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah.
We can flourish for a while, and in hype and all the good stuff, but it goes away. And I've seen this from the time the church was born in Fort Hope. It was just been on and off, on and off, on and off. There's nothing steady. Why? Because we never had training, never had discipleship. But now I believe, as we are more trained, as we have more people trained in our community, I'm believing that the impact that the church will have will stay and stand. That's what I believe.
My pastor is a great, warm-hearted person. He cares for all and is thoughtful. He's been leading this program forever, and he's amazing at it.
Whatever the odds are, whatever the opposition is, he always seems to push through.
But yeah, I don't think I'd be anywhere close to where I am with Pastor Jimmy in my life.
And now my desire is to see young people live that life of freedom from alcohol and drugs. And our belief is to raise young people, even children in children's ministry, to teach, to train, to disciple.
Jesus is good.
That they may have impact like the first church in our community didn't. Lord, whatever it is you want me to do, I'll do.